went to start a shift at work and I was cornered by Nancy from HR. Apparently in my previous shift I'd done a drug test that I'd failed. I said, listen Nancy, I can be nice to people or I can pass a drug test, but you can't have it both ways. But Brad, you're a pilot. Last week, one of your planes went into a nosedive for 30 seconds. In my defence, I just dropped a trip, and I was 100% sure I saw a Pokemon Go. So she fired me, and as I'm leaving, a colleague noticed that I was packing up all of my stuff, and they're like, we can fight this, you don't have to tolerate this. I said, look, call me old-fashioned, but I like to deal with things with a sense of class and composure. So I stood up, held my head high, walked out to the staff car park and I keyed Nancy's car. They say hell have no fury like a woman scorned. Clearly they've never been a homosexual who's just been fired. So luckily enough, I got a job a week later. It was a family-run business and it had a good feel to it. I'm not a very good judge of character because the red flags were there day one. The owner, John, should have retired 10 years ago. He was pretty passive-aggressive and just a pain in the arse. And he always loved to give tidbits on life. And the weird thing is, I remember you'd be at work and you'd see him pour his coffee in the morning and everyone would just scatter. It was like watching Scott Morrison in the bushfire zone. I remember sitting in a client meeting with a client who came storming in and he's like, are you the culprits that left the coffee cups in the sink? I'm like, no. And as he left, I'm like, I'm sorry, we're right next to a nursing home. I was sitting on the toilet and came storming in and he's like, Brad, have you wanted the plants in reception? It was awkward for both of us. I hadn't finished my wank yet. So I was fired. And I've gone down to Centrelink and I see a woman in there that had all the cheer of a fucking prison warden. And she said to me, I've got to ask you a couple of questions. I'm like, no worries. And she said to me, what do you do? I said, right now, I'm a leisure enthusiast. She said, I don't think you're taking this seriously. I said, Trish, is it? I don't think you're taking this seriously, expecting someone to offer $150 a week in 2020. She goes, genuinely, do you have any qualifications? I said, well, I've just started being a comedian. She goes, you're all right. I said, well, you're paying for it. I love how people think that Facebook and Google are listening to us. I'm actually one of them. Because when I came home from Centrelink, there was a Facebook ad that said a free paid medical trial. I was like, fuck yeah, thanks Mark Zuckerberg. So I applied, got in, and essentially I had to be there for 17 days. No sunlight, no fresh air. And I was in a group with a baby boomer, and I love it when they don't realise what they're saying. Because I said, oh look, after about a week, having no sunlight was getting to me. And I said, what about vitamin D? She goes, I know. 17 days without D. I just want to go outside and get some D into me. I particularly liked asking the medical staff about their experience. There was one girl that said that she used to work in the morgue. I said, what do you like about it? She's like, the people. Some could be a bit cold though. And there was another one that used to be an emergency room nurse, and I said to him, the natural question was, what sort of sexual injuries did you deal with? So a lot of people would come in with things lodged in orifices, but then they wouldn't tell you, you'd have to work it out. I said, like what? And he goes, strangely enough, a lot of light bulbs. My response was the same. Like, what do? You're Randy at home and you're with your partner and you're like, hey, I've had an idea. If I may, I would like to offer some advice to doctors. Sure, we know you're smart, but when you pull that curtain around, it's not a fucking cone of silence. The woman in the bed opposite me, come in, shut the curtains. Mrs. Reynolds, I'm here to talk to you about your abdominal pain. I just studied the x-ray and I'm not really sure how to say this, but there's 100% a light bulb there. I'm Brad Johnson, thank you.